Hello and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, Nigerians cast their votes in a turnout considered to be impressive. President Jonathan votes after attempting accreditation exercise with 4 card readers. Another presidential candidate also votes in his hometown, Daura. And INEC chairman extends election to tomorrow in places where voting failed. Today, March the 28th, has never been so significant in Nigeria's history. When Nigerians woke up this morning, it was with determination to pick a president in a race referred to by the international observers as the first genuine contest since the end of dictatorship in 1999. Some found it relatively easy at the polls, with the accreditation and voting exercise starting on schedule. It was a different story for many others, as problems associated with the card readers delayed the process for hours in several areas. The 2015 elections were originally slated for February the 14th, but the Independent National Electoral Commission announced a shift in the date, citing security concerns. Well, President Goodluck Jonathan today voted at his ward in Otueke, Bayelsa State. The president arrived accompanied by the First Lady and surrounded by a team of security agents. President Jonathan and the First Lady, Patience Jonathan, went on later on to cast their votes. He later told our correspondent Chukwuma Onekose that he was very hopeful of the outcome of the election. He also denied earlier reports of a bomb blast in Enugu State. The president had earlier experienced a hitch when he came to be accredited, as the card reader failed to recognize his thumbprint. He urged those eligible to vote to be patient no matter the setback, emphasizing that it was important that the presidential election is free, fair and credible.
Which means they are very ready.
It's one of the biggest days in Nigeria's political history, the 2015 general elections, and the #1 citizen of the country is setting an example.
He is coming with the First Lady.
The president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, and his wife show up ready to vote at Otueke local government area of Bayelsa State. First things first, he must go through the accreditation process before he can cast his vote.
He's also the incumbent president.
But technology poses a challenge as the card reader fails to recognize their thumbprints 4 times. But the president is nothing short of optimistic.
PVCs that have some issues, because I'm not a ghost voter, my wife's not a ghost voter. So we just completed the incident report card. So I'll ask Nigerians to be patient. If you have problems with their PVCs, of course there are some options. At least the PVC will help to reduce issues of maybe excessive accreditation and so on. So let us be patient with INEC. I think the elections will be very, very successful.
Persistence pays off, as after his return, an incident form was used in place of the card reader, and the president, as well as his wife, finally get the chance to vote.
The red for president and the green one for House of Reps. Thank you very much, sir. The president, the black one for the Senate, and the green one for House of Reps.
Let me again use this unique opportunity to congratulate our dear country, Nigeria, and all who have voted or who will still vote. We appreciate their patience, and they should sympathize with INEC. INEC want to use the card readers to make sure that our electoral process is credible and acceptable by international observers. Somehow, being the first time we are practicing with the card readers, there have been some issues in some units. The issue of the card readers is limited to Ogbeya, my own local government. Yes, Akepula is my mother's village. All the villages you've mentioned are from within my local government. If the card readers there are not working, I think it's a national issue. It's not limited to Bayelsa State. We have similar situation in Anambra State. In fact, the governor of Anambra State called and asked him to calm down. It was boiling.
Based on the card reader challenges, the voting exercise has been extended to tomorrow. But just like the example set by the president, Nigerians will need to be patient in order to ensure that their votes count.
The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, General Muhammadu Buhari, has expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the presidential elections nationwide, saying the hiccups experienced in a few states over the card readers is not enough to cast aspersions on the elections. Fielding questions from journalists in his house in Daura, General Buhari says reports made available to him indicate that the election has been generally peaceful. He commended the Independent National Electoral Commission for extending the exercise till tomorrow to allow eligible voters with accreditation issues to exercise their rights. The APC candidate, however, appealed to all his supporters to remain calm no matter the outcome of the election.
Accreditation done, and that seemed smooth as General Muhammadu Buhari took his detail away but returned at about 5 o'clock for the voting. So far, the exercise in Daura seemed to be hitch-free, and the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress cast its vote. After voting, he proceeds to his waiting vehicle as a large crowd continued to shout in support of their candidate. Addressing journalists at his home, he says the hiccups experienced in a few states over the card readers is not enough to cast aspersion on the elections.
I was happy with the decision taken by INEC that in places where election hasn't taken place today, it will take place tomorrow. I think that's good because from what the information we are getting, which hasn't yet been confirmed, there is problem of failure of some of the card readers or those electronic things. For example, it took me less than 5 minutes for accreditation. When I came back, I was watching it with channels. It took the president about 30 minutes to register. I was watching it. But it took his wife and his mother about 2 minutes to do it. So there is discrepancy in the performance of those gadgets. And for INEC, to give the notice that because of failure of some of the equipment, election will continue tomorrow, where elections have failed today. I think that is in order.
He again appealed to all his supporters to remain calm, no matter the outcome of the elections.
Well, the Independent National Electoral Commission certainly did not see the challenge with the card readers coming. But with reports from across the nation, the INEC chairman had to announce a one-day extension. INEC's National Commissioner, Mr. Chris Yemoga, told reporters today that the Commission remains committed to conducting free, fair and credible elections.
The guidelines for the conduct of the 2015 general elections provide that where card readers fail to work and cannot be replaced, elections in such polling units will be postponed to the following day. The scale of the challenge we have observed today has necessitated the reconsideration of this provision of the guidelines. The Commission has therefore decided, as part of the guidelines for the conduct of the 2015 general elections, that in polling units where card readers have failed to work, the presiding officer shall manually accredit voters by marking the register of voters upon being satisfied that the person presenting a permanent voter's card is the legitimate holder of the card. The above notwithstanding, in polling units where accreditation was suspended to the following day in accordance with the existing guidelines, arrangements will be made for voters to vote tomorrow, subject to the provisions of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended. The Commission reassures the voting public that it will thoroughly investigate what happened while it remains committed to the delivery of free, fair and credible elections in spite of these challenges.
The use of the card readers for today's presidential and National Assembly elections has generated mixed reactions in the nation's capital. Some residents of the capital city who spoke with Channels Television attributed the late commencement of the voting exercise in the polling units to the hiccups encountered during the accreditation stage. Our correspondent Linda Akigbe reports.
Scores of residents in the nation's capital flocked polling units before 8 o'clock, the official time for accreditation. After an hour of waiting for the electoral officials, the voters did not lose patience, as the enthusiasm to cast their vote was high. INEC officials only started to arrive 2 to 3 hours behind schedule time, and then the challenges began to mount. First, the confusion of arrangements, which took another 1 hour, and then the major discovery that the card readers were failing.
In that case, they are doing what we call physical verification. So they will look at the photograph on the PVC and compare it to what they have on the voters register. And as at that point, they can now accredit. So that has been the challenge, because a lot of them, the first set of people that came, the verification failed. Wait, you are delaying the voter. Why don't you do this one?
It's about 5 p.m. here in Later in Kabusa district of the FCT, where accreditation has just concluded. And of course, this is contrary to expectations that by now voting should have come to an end. We had a situation earlier where the INEC officials were not able to even operate the card readers on arrival. Now, as a matter of fact, many drew attention to the fact that INEC used millions of naira to procure these devices as well as trained staff. And so many readily expressed a disappointment over this setback.
INEC can look for another mix of bringing a device whereby when you operate, the thing will circulate everywhere at the same time. Secondly, people they give us here, the officials they give us here, they are part of delaying the whole problem. All the security officers got their account. They should have helped us on the line. Look at the time now. It's almost after 6, and we're all here.
I took my PVC there. When the car reader now read it, it was not captured. Then my thumbprint, no anyone captured. They now refer me to the manual process that I should go there and check. And then when I went there, they checked my number and then place a number on my PVC.
The challenge of card readers has been a source of serious concern to many. But despite this, the general expectation is that the elections would reflect the will of the people. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Our correspondent Gloria Umezuke reporting there on the situation in the nation's capital, Abuja. In part 2, after the break, the rating of the international community on Nigeria's election. That's in a moment. Join us again.